Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse today, Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. On the Trump docket, let's stop and note that it was a year ago today, that the Georgia case was begun in Georgia State Court. And now, where does it stand? I mean, there's been a lot of fighting about Fani Willis staying on top of the case, but as we approach the election, the case is no closer to trial than it was even a few months ago. So there's that. Now, I thought of it because yesterday I covered a case here in the Southern District of New York. Just a relatively routine case. A woman stopped in a car in the Bronx, 4 kilos of drugs. That was on only July 11th. She's been indicted. She's in detention. Yesterday she appeared in front of the assigned district judge who set a trial date, February 3rd. February 3rd, and the judge would have gone actually faster. That was the lawyers on both sides agreed to that date to allow motions to suppress, whether the car should have been stopped, etc. In any case, that's July through February, and that trial will happen. I believe that's a solid date. This is not a judge that changes things. It's U.S. versus Valdez. There's many of those cases by that name, but you can check that one out. Also, U.S. versus Muniz. We covered one of the many New York City Housing Authority bribery cases that have been, I would say that the balance of power has changed after the Supreme Court's Snyder decision, which found that gratuities paid after the fact don't violate the federal statute. Muniz pled guilty. He's a 65-year-old man who took $3,000 in bribes while a superintendent for the New York City Housing Authority. The government wanted apparently 8 months, then they whittled it down to 6 months home detention. They didn't get that. 6 months probation, and a $3,000 restitution, and a $4,000 fine. This was by a magistrate judge because it was a misdemeanor. This was something that was announced with great fanfare. Ends up being a misdemeanor with no jail time at all. And so you have it. Now, more troublingly, there was 4 people were extradited in from Cyprus. This is a case that we've been covering since 2021. It's a 2021 case. One of the lead defendants is called Scott Nielsen. He was a sort of middle-of-the-road British footballer. So that Cyprus, Britain, boiler rooms, that was what got the case some notoriety. Now no one else is covering the case, but we did. And 4 additional defendants, 2 Georgius, and a woman was indicted in, rail thin. And it emerged that she had been in a cancer hospital in Cyprus and was essentially ripped out of it and flown to the United States and put in the MDC Brooklyn, which has its nut problems that can they really do cancer care? Now, it just seemed that if the case has been going on for 2 years, the wisdom and the humanity of pulling this woman out of a cancer ward in Cyprus. I don't know. I haven't seen the medical diagnosis. Her name is Brenda Laverty, and we're not going to rest on that one. We're going to continue to cover it. Speaking of Cyprus, it's yet another. The UN has, of course, failed on Gaza and Ukraine. They failed on Western Sahara, which they promised to hold a referendum and never did. Cyprus, they've been hanging there for the longest, and now they can't even get the sides to meet. There was apparently a miscommunication where the Greek Cypriot said he was going to meet with Antonio Guterres, the now junketing censor of a Secretary General, now in Samoa. But then the Turkish Cypriot side said that's not the case, and they're not meeting. Now there's a photo of Colin Stewart, who is formerly, that's the connection to Western Sahara, formerly the UN's man in Western Sahara, accused of sexual abuse. We've reported it in great detail. Nothing has ever been done. He's just been promoted up. That's today's UN, and we won't rest until we're back in. Inner City Press. We've had 2 law firms write to Melissa Fleming, the Antonio Guterres' head of media accreditation, Quinn Emanuel, Dwayne Morris. So far, nothing. It's kind of amazing that the UN can be so immune, so impugn, such impunity right here in Manhattan. But for now, that's how it is. But we will not rest. Inner City Press.